Alright, we are back with another pick'em video. It is Thursday, January 22nd in the NBA. We have an 8-game slate to talk about in this one. We are going to go over the recap first, then we'll hop into the injury report, any teams on a back-to-back, and projected minutes and things like that. And then we will be hopping into the plays for today. And we also have a giveaway to do from yesterday because you guys killed it. We had only about 700 views on the video. Just again, I'm not in that algo yet, but we had over 100 likes, like 115 likes, and we almost had 100 comments. So really appreciate everyone doing that. It is going to help me break through that algorithm again and start getting the views that I think I deserve over here. But yeah, really appreciate that. We will do the $25 giveaway a little bit later on in the video. But first, let's go over the recap of those picks from yesterday. And a first losing day in a while here. So again, still 7 of the last 9 days have been winning days. But let's talk about what happened yesterday, down about 0.83 units. First of all, 2 of those losses came in that same game. We did only throw 0.75 units on it. Especially this Derek Queen line. I almost talked myself out of it, to be totally honest, but we end up going there. He ends up playing less than Yves Missi, which we talked about. That was one of the warning signs. And the whole shadow over this game was this could have been a blowout. Cade Cunningham ends up not playing in this game. So he changed the whole course of this thing. When Cade Cunningham got ruled out, Tobias Harris's line shot up to 23.5 or something like that. He ends up with 19 or 20 PRA. He did not get over. He shot only 30% from the field, did well rebounding, did well assisting. So I'm glad I added those things in, but just couldn't get it done for us with the points. Had only 10 points, shot like 4 of 13 or something. Didn't get to the free throw line. So it was just an unfortunate one for Tobias Harris. And then Derek Queen, I call that a bad read. We knew that Yves Missi could play more than him in a situation like this. He was diming up. He was in plus minus in the box score. But again, they just liked what they saw from Yves Missi. This was not a blowout in any sense. I think it was about a 10-point game throughout. But unfortunate one there. Grady Dick under 8.5, maybe just a 2-line low of a line to go to. There's too much variance. He does only play about 19 minutes, so he did not get that 20-minute mark, and we've seen the hit rate with him only getting 19 minutes. He also shot a lot more than I thought he was going to shoot, and he just got over. He had 11 points in that game. Didn't crush it, just kind of crept over. But the good reads here, and I'm really happy with these reads. Josh Hart under 5.5. I'm really happy I called that 60-point blowout from the Knicks and the Nets. No, I didn't, but great read. Everyone was active, and he doesn't get as much involved in the passing game when everyone is active. And then Shea to get 2 threes. He had 2 threes. He only shot 2 threes as well. So he dropped 40 on the night, only shot 2 threes, but knocked them both down. But hey, we were looking at the games. He had not been shooting efficiently. Had a lot of 0 for 4 games, had a lot of 1 for 4 games. He was due for a nice shooting night, and he knocked down both of them. So that is the recap. Again, we lost a little bit yesterday, but the last 7 of 9 days, we have been winning. So love to see that. We're going to try to get back on track today. A little bounce back spot. So going over to RotoWire to look at the projected minutes, injuries, and all that, just to give you guys a sense of who's playing. If you see any lines that are like, whoa, that's too good to be true, probably is. Means someone's injured or there's a questionable tag or something like that. So we'll start with the Charlotte and Orlando game. Charlotte is the only team on a back-to-back today. There are a couple teams on a front end to a back-to-back, but they're the only ones that played yesterday. So just keep that in mind. Guys like LaMelo Ball have been playing in back-to-backs, but anyone that comes into practice, shoot around sore, they could end up sitting this one. Here's the projected minutes as of right now. Again, kind of a little bit more difficult to read because someone could pop up on the injury report. But where is LaMelo? Crazy to me that this guy was like an all-star, and now he's coming off the bench half the time. They do not like what they see. He might come off the bench again. We'll see. As of right now, RotoWire is saying he'll probably start. And 29 minutes is pretty high for him. He barely ever gets over 30 minutes now. And again, in a back-to-back, I wouldn't expect too much there. But Concanepel's been great. Some other guys, Brandon Miller, he's going to get the time in the court. Miles Bridges, they're very consistent with him. And then Diabate and Kalkbrenner, they're going to pretty much split minutes depending on who's playing better. Diabate has been getting the more minutes run in typical games recently. Now we go to Orlando. Jalen Suggs will be a question mark here, but we still got Paolo, Desmond, Franz is starting to creep up his minutes. Wendell Carter Jr. will be in that starting spot, and then Anthony Black continues to show out, so he could be getting more run as he continues to play really, really well. Charlotte, not the most great matchup for guards, but we'll see how they do today in terms of injuries. Jalen Suggs, pretty much the only guy that matters there. Then we go to Houston and Philadelphia. This is a 2-point spread, by the way. The Orlando game, Magic favored by 6.5 at home. Houston on the road favored by 2 points here. No Steven Adams, no Fred VanVleet. Obviously, he's been out the rest of the entire season. Now, we've seen a couple games without Steven Adams in the lineup. Those are definitely might be things you want to be looking at. Games like without Steven Adams, you could be some more rebounding for Sengun, more rebounding for Amin Thompson, things like that you might want to look at. Jabari Smith Jr. projected for 36 minutes. A lot of these big starters getting a lot of time off the bench. And then Reed Shepherd, again, without Steven Adams, he could be that guy that plays himself into a bigger role if he's knocking down the shots. Same thing with Tari Eason. Then you go to the Philadelphia 76ers side of things. Embiid right now is probable, not a back-to-back, so I expect him to go out there and play. In terms of the bench unit here, Kelly Oubre, going to be the guy. Again, if he's hitting shots, he's going to get the minutes. If Quentin Grimes is hitting the shots, that guy's going to be getting more minutes. So we've seen Oubre play a lot of minutes recently, and a couple of these guys have been out. Paul George, questionable. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, Paul George, questionable. He's missed the last few games. He's been in the lineup, so just got to be sure you're looking at the injury report to see if these guys are going to be playing or not. Continue on to the Nuggets and the Wizards. 5.5-point favorites are the road team in the Wizards as we played in Washington. Ton of injuries for the Denver Nuggets. We know that. Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray probable in this one. That's kind of in their tag recently. Jokic still going to be out. Cam Johnson still going to be out. Christian Brown's still going to be out. So here's the projected minutes for their team. Tim Hardaway Jr. definitely can shoot his way into more time off the bench, especially out playing guys like Spencer Jones or Jalen Pickett. He could be a guy that sees a lot more time in the court if those shots are falling. And honestly, you have a guy like Bruce Brown too. And maybe if they see what they like from Jonas Valanciunas or Aaron Gordon, sometimes maybe he gets downgraded questionable. He could be a guy that you want to attack. He's really, really good in limited minutes. But Jamal Murray, those guys are going to be reliant on him. He's been a beast, and this is a great matchup for him. Washington, we got a bunch of injuries and a bunch of question marks here. Obviously a harder team to read just because they're kind of in tank mode. But Kayshawn George should get the most run. He has been getting the most run. Again, it's a 6.5-point spread. The Wizards have been losing games by a lot recently, so they're always in blowout territory. But even in blowouts, these guys don't get a ton of time. Alex Sarr is pretty much capping out at like 30, 32 minutes. He sometimes gets like 23 minutes up too. They don't play him sometimes. It's weird. Kind of like it's like the Sengun treatment that he was getting on the Rockets a lot of the times from last year or the year before. But Bilal Coulibaly, Chris Middleton, we want to know if those guys are going to play. They're going to take a lot of usage from some other dudes off the bench. And again, if these guys get ruled out, some guys are going to get massive boosts here. So definitely keep an eye on this Wizards team throughout the day. But just know, not a lot of guys are getting more than 30 minutes on this team. Moving to the Warriors and the Dallas Mavericks. 5.5-point favorites are the Warriors because the Mavericks dealing with a ton of injuries. But Cooper Flagg should be in this one. Should get a lot of run, especially if it stays close. Max Christie, Najee Marshall, PJ Washington, those are the guys that are most likely going to see that 30-plus minutes. So we got a lot of information on them with that much time on the court. Daniel Gafford, questionable right now, 24 projected minutes as of right now. If he gets ruled out, you're going to see a Dwight Powell come in, play a lot more time. You could even see a guy like Brandon Williams come in and play a lot more time. If Klay Thompson comes in like a flamethrower, he's typically not going to get still a ton of time in the court. It's what he can do in that much time in the court if he's knocking down his shots and certain things like that. For the Warriors side of things, it's going to be Steph Curry. He's going to be hopefully having to carry this team to victory. Draymond Green's going to be in there, but Dempsey's been getting a lot more run without Jimmy Butler now in the lineup. Kuminga has actually been getting a decent amount of run the last game, so it's interesting. Is he going to start playing back in the rotation? Really, really weird thing what's going on with him, but he's probably most likely going to be traded eventually. Maybe they need to show off like, hey, this guy can play. We obviously know he can play. We just don't jive with the guy. Project for 18 minutes, but you see his chart. He could go anywhere from not playing at all to end up playing 25-plus minutes here. So just a weird one for guys off the bench. But Podziemski, he's going to be, I think, the main guy that should be starting to get the majority of those consistent minutes. And Moses Moody can shoot himself into more minutes as well. Then we got the Chicago Bulls. Giddey, again, the big question mark. It's a harder team to read because is Giddey, when is he going to come back? Is he going to play? Is he going to play a lot of time? Most likely not play a lot of time. And you could see that he just hasn't been playing. He's been questionable now recently. We'll see if he actually ends up going out and playing. But this team is obviously run by him a lot when he's on the court. So a lot of guys are going to play a little bit differently with him. But Kobe White, huge boost in his production, things like that. He's kind of that main focal point of the offense when Giddey is not out there. But Ayo Dosunmu continues to be really good. But again, Giddey just being questionable is a little bit scary. You got to know if he's going to play or not to be confident in your Chicago Bulls plays. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're pretty much fully healthy. Here's what we got for the projected minutes. We know a lot of their starters get a whole lot of run. Nasri, the main guy off the bench to attack if you want to be looking at that. It's a 9.5-point game, so just keep that in mind. Some blowout potential there. But Anthony Edwards could be a guy to look at just because he's playing really well right now. And he's, again, all-star snub, starter, whatever we want to call it. He's got a good matchup against the Bulls. Going to the Spurs and the Utah Jazz, Luke Kornet questionable. Devin Vassell continues to be out, so we've seen this movie many times before without Devin Vassell. Guys like Julian Champagnie, guys like Keldon Johnson, even guys like Dylan Harper can definitely get some extended run if those are the guys that are playing better. But Julian Champagnie, a guy that can knock down a whole bunch of threes, and this is a great matchup to do so. So he's a guy that I might want to be looking at. For the Utah Jazz, We got some injuries to talk about because Lauri Markkanen continues to be out. Bryce Sensabaugh, questionable. He's missed questionable. He's missed a little bit of time as well. And Keontae George, the guy that has just been a stud, not talked about enough. I know he's on the Jazz, but this guy can put the ball in the basket. He's been cooking lately. And the Jazz kind of, they're leaning towards, are they tanking or they just want to play their young guys? Ace Bailey finally getting a decent amount of run, and he's been playing really, really well. Now let's look at the Battle of LA. 1 point spread in favor of the Clippers, who are the home team, and they have their own stadium now. They're not playing in the Staples Center, Crypto.com Arena, whatever you want to call it. But Luka and LeBron are active, still no Austin Reeves. Here's the projected minutes for this team. Marcus Smart, again, a guy that can see 30-plus minutes in close games. DeAndre Ayton, a guy that has been questionable and has actually missed a game recently. And then LeBron and Luka, no questionable tag at all here. And Luka, just want to point this out, just looking at the lines and things like this. I've been looking at his up and down performances without Austin Reeves. He has a 40-point game, and then he'll have a 25-point game. He'll have a 36-point game, then he'll have a 26-point game. He's kind of been, again, up and down very, very consistently with Austin Reeves out. So if he just had a good game, you might want to be looking at a bad game. That could also just be, just completely random. But LeBron James could be in a spot to play pretty well here in the Clippers arena, especially if Luka's not going to have one of those big scoring performances. Clipper side of things, still no Bogdanovich, still no Derek Jones Jr., but Kawhi questionable here. He could be returning, and they play really, really well with him. They play a lot different with him. James Harden, not the full engine of this offense with Kawhi Leonard in here. And before that injury that happened to Kawhi, he kind of has been nursing that injury. He had been hooping. So just keep that in mind. Guys like John Collins will probably not be as involved with Kawhi Leonard on the court, but they also just run a whole lot differently. And finally, we got Miami and Portland. Still no Terry Rozier. We've talked about this before. That guy is in jail. Tyler Hero continues to be out here. Kelly Ware, questionable mark, but Norman Powell continues to be a bucket. Bam Adebayo has some horrible games, but he needs to be more consistent for this team. Andrew Wiggins scoring definitely goes up without a guy like Tyler Hero in the lineup. And then guys off the bench you want to be looking at. Jaime Jaquez Jr. can be a guy that plays himself into a lot of minutes, and he can do a little bit of everything. Rebound, he can assist, and he can put the ball in the basket. Some Fotekia a little bit too, Simone. Kelly Ware being questionable. Again, maybe lean on Bam a little bit if this game does stay close. He could see a little bit extra time and not have Kelly Ware battling for minutes for him. Davion Mitchell will be the starting point guard for this team, and he plays pretty well when he's in that role as well without Tyler Hero. Then for the Portland side of things, Denny Advia is going to be playing. That's a good sign for the Portland Trail Blazers. He's been a beast. He's a all-star this year for sure, but a lot of question marks. Jeremy Grant, Drew Holiday, he's kind of been in and out of the lineup recently as well. But Klingan should be in there for 30+. Shaedon Sharpe should be in there, putting up as many shots as he can in the time he's on the court. And Tumani Kamara, a guy that can have a dud and also a guy that can have a very good game sometimes. So definitely want to be looking at the matchup you're going to be attacking these guys. And Jeremy Grant definitely could eat into some of these guys' minutes. Same with Drew Holiday. You want to know if those guys are playing. So there is the injury report. We got some close spreads in here today, which should be fun. The biggest spread is this Spurs game against Utah. And then we have another one against the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Chicago Bulls. But every other game, pretty close in terms of the spread. So very, very good thing when you're looking at these plays. The least likely scenario for being a blowout, the better, even though it can happen to any game at all. So we got some good games to bet on is essentially what we're looking at. But hopefully you guys got some information from the injury report. Again, the only team on a back-to-back right now, the Charlotte Hornets. So with that all out of the way, let's actually start talking about our plays for the day. We're going to be using Props Madness. If you want to check out Props Madness, you can do so in the link in the description down below. You get 25% off using my link and code, and it lets them know that I sent you there. So it's a great way to support the channel, and it's a really fun app to use, very, very powerful app to use, and you'll see it throughout the entire video. But our first play here is going to be Kevin Durant, 24.5 points, -110 on BetMGM, so pretty much 25+. And he's coming off a game that he shot 12 times. He shot 7 of 12 in that game. They did win that game by 5, but he didn't get his shots up, and I think he's going to be itching to get a whole bunch of shots up. The last time he got minimal shots, which we can see that with the blue field goals attempted line, again, trajectory is down, but last time he got less than 15 shots or so was, I guess, this little dip here. He came back the next game, shot 26 times, and had 34 points. And I think they could use him today because you look at the matchup, they don't allow a whole lot of ISO ball. Kevin Durant can ISO, but he can also get to the rim. He can get to his spot-up spots. They rank 9th in terms of that. He can do some pick-and-roll ball handling, whatever it might be. Kevin Durant can score the ball. I'm not worried about him scoring the ball. It's these other guys, the above the break threes, the catch and shoot, the spot ups again. Guys getting in position to shoot the ball. This is what the Philadelphia 76ers have been limiting a whole bunch. And I think in turn, they might have to rely on their best scorer, Kevin Durant, one of the best scorers of all time, to get a lot of shots up today and hopefully knock them down. Again, 12 shots last game. This guy should be going into Ime Udoka's office and being like, dude, I need to shoot a little bit more. And Ime will probably go, yeah, you definitely do. So I think he comes out aggressive. Again, downtrend recently, but we know Kevin Durant can explode at any moment. This is also a 2-point spread. This could be a big spot for Kevin Durant to come in here, play a whole lot of minutes. Again, 2-point spread. And they're also away. So you go to away games, he's over this in 65% of games, averaging around 26, 27 points per game in these away games. In the last few away games, he's really been needed. They've been in some blowout situations, but again, 2-point spread here, and Embiid should be active for the Philadelphia 76ers. And if we get a close game, we get a lot of minutes from KD. I expect a lot of shots from him today. So loving his points. You could ladder this one up a little bit. I'm just going to do the 25 plus. Everyone's active, but again, very hard catch and shoot spot, which a lot of these guys on the Rockets turn into when they can. And it might be a little bit difficult for them to get those open looks. So I think they rely heavily on KD, and I think we see a whole bunch of volume from today, and it's going to be a volume play for sure. And with all that said, you can again talk about the injury report. Pretty much everyone is active. We're going to get Sengun, we're going to get Ahmed Thompson, Jabari Smith, Reed Shepard, Tardis, and all these guys, these main guys are playing. The hit rate drops to 43.8%. But like I mentioned, a lot of those guys rely heavily on the catch and shoot situations. This is a good catch and shoot defense, ranked 5th overall in challenging matchups with all these guys in the lineup. He's actually at 30 plus points in all of these against the Pistons, against the Raptors, against the Dallas Mavericks, averaging around 34 points a game. And you can see the projected, or the shot attempts too, 26, 19, and 18. That's be what I expect today, around 18 or so shots, if anything, not more than that. But the scoring is there with all these guys active in these difficult catch and shoot opportunities. So KD might be, again, relied on a little bit more today. Jumping to the next play, it's going to be Bam Adebayo to knock down some 3-pointers. 1.5 3-pointers plus 105 right now is the price I'm getting it at. And there's obviously been some sort of talk with Bam Adebayo saying, hey, you need to shoot more threes. You used to shoot threes. You just have not been shooting them. And you can actually see, again, going to the stats, 3-pointers attempted. Look at the huge uptick in his 3-pointers attempted the last few games. And obviously, in turn, that's turned into a lot of 3-pointers made. But there's a clear difference in, hey, don't shoot threes, 2 or 3 attempts maxing out. And then, at this Suns game, there must have been a discussion saying, Bam, we need you to be a little bit more aggressive. We need you to spread the floor a little bit more, get the centers uncomfortable on that 3-point line. And he's been shooting a whole lot of them, 6, 7, 10, 5, and 5 3-pointers. If you want to look at this hit rate and go, that is disgusting, you got to look at the three. When he shoots 5 to, let's say, even just 5 to 8 3-pointers, the hit rate obviously looks a whole lot better, around 53%. Now, is this the best matchup in the world for threes? They don't allow a whole bunch of 3-pointers attempted. 4th ranked in terms of that, in terms of above the break. 7th ranked in terms of spot up, catch and shoot. They're ranked 12th. But positionally, again, he's going up against Donovan Clingan. He wants to take that guy out of the paint so he can't defend the rim. Positionally, they rank 28th in terms of giving up threes. So Bam's getting this huge uptick in 3-pointers. I think there must have been a conversation with him that, hey, you need to shoot more 3-pointers. And this is a perfect matchup for him to try to get Donovan Clingan a little bit more uncomfortable, a little bit quicker on his feet. And if Clingan's not quicker on his feet, Bam's got the green light to start shooting some threes again, or even maybe being told to shoot more threes again. So I like what he's been doing recently. And again, if he's going to put 5 to 8 3-pointers up, the hit rate starts to look obviously a whole lot better here. Does he get 5 3-pointers? I think this could be one of those games you look at the ladder because of the matchup. Positionally, again, 28th ranked in terms of centers putting 3-pointers up. Perfect matchup for Bam to do so. And again, we've seen the uptick in the trends as of recently. So this could be one you ladder up. I'm taking the plus 105. In the recap, I'll talk about if I actually end up laddering this thing, but it's something I'm definitely considering. And before we move away from Bam, and again, we're looking at the 3-pointers attempted, the hit rate goes along with wins as well. So when he's taking the threes, when he's making the threes, the Heat are a lot more effective. Again, they can work a little bit more in the paint. He spreads the floor a little bit more. And again, I showed the 5 to 8 3-pointers attempted. If he can get 6 to 8, this looks a whole lot better, and the threes are really falling. And again, they did have a loss here against the Celtics. It's a tough team, but a lot of these are translating to wins. And again, even if I go back to the 5 3-pointers attempted, a lot of these games he shoots 1 of 5. So if we can get that 6 3-pointer, that's when that hit rate really jumps up. But again, look at these games, 1 by 13. They get that loss to the Celtics, but 1 by 6, 1 by 17, 1 by 36, 1 by 27, 1 by 32. There's an obvious correlation between the Heat winning games and Bam Adebayo taking and making some threes. So really liking that opportunity for us. 1.5-point spread. Should stay close, but even in these blowouts, he's getting a whole lot of threes. So makes a whole lot of sense for Bam to shoot a bunch and hopefully to knock him down today. Moving to the next play here, it's going to be Jonathan Kuminga, and this could be one that looks ridiculous tomorrow if he goes out and plays 30 minutes. I'm going to look like a fool. He's going to completely destroy this line, but I'm looking at his 18.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I'm looking at the under at -115, and it's, again, we talked about it in the injury report. Because Jonathan Kuminga and the Golden State Warriors do not like each other. Now, can they mend that relationship? I have no idea. But like Steve Kerr has literally come out and been like, this guy is not a winning player. He's sat out games when he's not injured. Jimmy Butler is out of this lineup. He's out for the season. They need a guy like Jonathan Kuminga to come in and score the ball. He's actually like the perfect player they kind of need. But this relationship is kind of broken. And we've seen Jonathan Kuminga barely get time on the court. Some games he's just not even playing. So he did get 21 minutes last game. They lost that game by 18 points. He scored 20. Is that empty points? Potentially. Is he a winning player? I haven't seen that yet. So I'm going to go out and say that I don't believe it. I don't believe he's going to be part of this rotation. And if he does be part of this rotation, he's going to be a guy that comes in and plays about 20 minutes. In games he's seeing, let's say 20 minutes or less, he hasn't hit this in any single game. In games he's seeing 22 minutes or less, he's had one game where he went over, and that was that last game where he shot 7 of 10. Is this a great matchup from the score? Honestly, it's pretty dang good. He can get to the rim, and that's what he likes to do. And could he play 30 minutes tonight? He absolutely could. If him and Steve Kerr shook hands yesterday and said, hey, we liked what we saw off the bench. We need you. Jimmy Butler's not here. Can you start playing for us? Maybe they, hugged it out. But I don't believe it. Every report that I look into, this is a dead relationship. They might want to try to get the best value for him in a trade package, which maybe in turn means they play the guy. But I don't expect anything more than 22 or whatever minutes that he's been getting as of late with all the injury news and or all the news that's coming out about him. Now without Jimmy Butler, he's gone under in 2 games. He's gone over in 2 games. So it's not like Jimmy Butler's out and they have to play this guy. In 2 of the games he went under, they won a game by 5. They lost a game by 1. In the games that he's played, decently and scored a lot, they lost both those games. So it's not like he's coming in and winning them games when he scores a whole bunch of points. I think they could find a different direction. And again, everything I read about this guy, he is kind of just a nutcase and doesn't like to play basketball with the Warriors. He wants out. The Warriors don't want to play him. And that's what we've seen from the minutes. So I'm expecting 22 at the very max minutes today. But again, I could look ridiculous tomorrow when he plays 35 minutes and scores 35 points because he's that kind of guy and he's got a matchup to do so. 5.5-point spread. They are on the road. Hopefully they keep it close and Jonathan Kuminga doesn't see a whole lot of time. Maybe he doesn't even play, but we'll see. The weird one to read, but I think at 18.5, it just seems a little bit too high if he's not going to get a ton of time on the court, and that's what I'm rolling the dice with. Then finally moving into our last play, Jaden McDaniels over 4.5 rebounds, plus 100. A great value here. This is honestly one of the main reasons why I'm attacking this line. I think plus 100 is a great price for a line that hits pretty consistently, 55 over the last 20 games, and he's been getting that 5 mark very consistently as of late. He's got a perfect matchup to get boards today. Now it's a 9.5-point spread, but if this is a blowout, the hit rate isn't horrible. We go to the splits, we see the win-loss margin. In games they win by 10 plus points, he's still over this in 46% of those games, but he's averaging around that 4.5 mark. So again, the plus 100 price tag on a line, he's still getting this, and this is just in blowout situations. I like those, from what I'm seeing. In some of these games, he's not getting a ton of time. 22 minutes against the Wizards, blowout, but that just in turn means more misses for this other team. But the Bulls play with a lot of pace. They play with a lot of pace. They give up a lot of rebounds. They give up a lot of rebounds to his position. So it's a great rebounding matchup for him. Don't know if he's played these guys yet. He already did 5 rebounds on 11 potentials. That would be totally fine with me. Again, plus 100 price tag. We're not paying any juice on this line. But the pace is what I'm really looking at. If you look at games he's going against favorable pace, so top 10 paces in the league, this is a team that plays a lot of pace, especially if they get Giddey back. That pace is going to be very, very good. Even if they don't get Giddey back, this is a high point total, 238.5. They're expecting a lot of shots, which in turn means more opportunities for misses, which obviously means more opportunities for rebounds here. But yeah, they play with a high pace. That's the main thing I'm looking at. If we look at just going to pace, favorable matchups for pace, now he's over this in 66% of games. It's also a very good rebounding matchup. If you want a combo there, there's not as many games, but he's still over in 7 of 11 games in these high pace, big rebounding matchups that he's got today. And again, high point total, 238, just means more opportunities for shots, more opportunities for rebounds. So we're getting a pretty dang good hit rate for a price tag that's plus 100. Could this miss? Absolutely. He lands on 4 a lot. He does land on 5 a lot too. He's not crushing this line. So this isn't one you ladder up to 10 plus rebounds. I don't expect that today. But I do like the baseline of him getting 5. And again, we've seen it in this matchup specifically. 11 rebound chances, 5 rebounds. We could absolutely see something like that today. But I like his consistency recently. He's got a great matchup for the rebounds. Yes, everyone is in the lineup, and I want to show you that because the hit rate doesn't look amazing with everyone active. Only 40% in the last 20 games with everyone in here. Rudy Gobert could be stealing some. Randall could be rebounding well. Naz Reid off the bench, whoever it might be. But Jaden McDaniels has been in that rebound spot, and he takes advantage in these good spots. So high pace, more rebound opportunities. I like this chance against the Bulls, especially at the plus 100 price tag. So those are the 4 plays, but now it's giveaway time, and then we're going to do the recap of what we talked about in this one. So I have not done this yet. I have used this in the past, but I'm going to go to YouTube giveaway wheel. We're going to go, I guess I've used this one in the past, so that'll be the one I stay with. We'll go here. We'll grab the link. Just going to do this live, so you don't think I'm doing any funky stuff. We had 92 comments. We want unique authors. That's one thing I do want to see. And now we're going to pick the random comment here. So let's see who wins it, maybe later. And we got a Johnny from Scani. Love the picks. Let's get that sweep tonight, Rich. Didn't get the sweep, but hopefully we get that today. And Johnny from Scani, hit me up in the comments or something, or join the free part of the Discord, or follow me on Twitter. Just get in touch with me somehow. I will see your comment in this video if that's the way you do it, and I will get you that $25. And we'll do these giveaways again. Again, really appreciate the support in the last video, with all the comments, all the likes. Continue to like the video, continue to comment, and again, we'll be doing these giveaways a little bit more frequently from here on out. But yeah, Johnny from Scani. You got it. So we're gonna jump in the recap real quick, but real quick shout out to Pickett. If you're not on Pickett, it's the best bet tracker out there. You sync a sports book, it tells you if you're winning or you're losing your plays. You can sync as many sports books as you want. And if you use my code RichPicks when you sign up, there'll be a link in the description down below. You get $3 or $100 just by signing up. The Pickett app is totally free to use. They have a great mobile app as well, so just get it in the App Store. Use my code RichPicks when you download it, or use the link in the description down below. And again, $3 or $100 just by syncing your first sports book. Totally free for you guys to use. But let's look at the recap. I didn't even put the last play in yet. But yeah, Jaden McDaniels over the 4.5 rebounds at plus 100. Really like that price on that play. Then we're taking Jonathan Kuminga's under at 18.5. I could look like an idiot tomorrow if he plays 30 minutes or something, or 25 even plus minutes, and he goes out there and scores a million points. But I don't think that relationship is mendable. But we'll see what happens. Again, could be a great read, could be an idiotic read. Just the minutes play. I don't think he's going to get that much time on the court. Bam Adebayo over his threes at 1.5. You could ladder this up to 2.5 as well. I think it's 270 is the 2.5 line. I'm just going to stick to the 1 unit on the 105. But I really like what he's been doing in terms of 3-pointers, and he knocks them down and it turns into wins. And then I got KD over 24.5 points, get that 25 plus. Did not shoot a bunch last game, but I expect him to get a lot of volume today in a good catch and shoot defense. They might need to rely on him a little bit more. So that will do it for us. Again, I'll go ahead and add the Jaden McDaniels line. All right, so there we go. It looks a whole lot better with McDaniels in there, but we also added the Bam Adebayo. I couldn't help myself. Quarter unit on his 2.5 threes for plus 270 on DraftKings. Just got to knock him down, Bam. I think the volume is going to be there. Again, just got to put the ball in the basket. So that'll do it for me. Again, check out Pickett. That was the bet tracker that I'm partnered up with. Shout out to Johnny from Scani. You won the giveaway, the $25 giveaway. We'll be doing more of those in the future. And then check out Prouse Madness, 25% off your first month. If you want to check it out, link in the description down below. And check out my Discord community if you want access to all of my plays. But that'll do it for us. Thank you guys for watching. Again, comment something down below. Subscribe to the channel. Like it. Definitely helps YouTube push this video out a little bit more. And I really appreciate all you guys watching. So I'll see you in the next one, hopefully going over a winning day. Again, last 7 of 9 videos have been winning days. So didn't have it yesterday. Get back on track today. See you guys. Peace.